I'd like to call this commission regular session to order. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Dominic, Johnson, Williams,
Yeah.
Bowman, Baker, Lynch,
Here.
Thibodeau, Scott, Smith.
Yeah.
We have four, man.
Okay, it's on.
Thank you. We will have prayer by Commissioner Bowman,
You better screen.
and we have pledge by Commissioner Lynch.
Everyone, please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we come today with our humble heads, Lord. Father, I ask that you just continue to guide each and every one of us and let us be productive and progressive for the citizens we represent and be service unto you, Father God. God bless everyone and let every decision be the best that we can be. These are the blessings I ask, thank you in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Let us turn to face the flag and give a proper salute. Say the pledge together.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Evans. Are there any agenda additions? Next item, Mr. Clerk.
We have citizen comments.
Citizens who wish to address the commission on any issue other than zoning, please fill out a comment card located in the chamber foyer and return to the president or the clerk of the commission. Individual comments are limited to 3 minutes. And I do have one card from a Diane Richardson. Please come. Diane Richardson.
My name is Diane Richardson, and I wanted to address the issue concerning the vote on Miss Donna Frazier. I'm here in support of Donna Frazier. And ladies and gentlemen of the Caddo Parish Commission, since we live in a democracy and not a monarchy, the practice of nepotism needs to cease and be replaced with a fairer system. The issue today is of fairness. When you work on a job, you have a reasonable expectation of being able to move up in their business or career, even if that business is city government. You would also expect the representatives of that government to be fair and impartial, just as each of them would expect when themselves attempt to climb the political ladder, from commissioner to city council, state representative, to state senator, and even U.S. senator. I'd like to end by saying that I hope the commission will give this some serious consideration.
Thank you. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
We have one more card, ma'am.
Well, now we got more cards.
You got one behind you, Todd.
Anybody got any leftover barbecue? Okay.
$20 a plate. You come get some.
That's what I was asking.
Sarah Price.
And whatever.
Good afternoon. I'm Sarah Price, and I am here to list a couple of comments I have about your term limit vote that you're going to take up this afternoon. When I think of term limits, the traditional term limit is 2 4-year terms. Existing for the Caddo Parish Commission is 3 4-year terms, which is 12 years. And the fact that y'all are considering voting for either getting rid of your term limit or increasing it to 3 5-year terms, which is 15 years, kind of sends the message that perhaps your position is not so much one of service to citizens of the parish, but one of a career. And there are reasons for term limits. Term limits help to keep projects fresh, to bring in new ideas, and I would like for each of you to seriously consider not voting to change your existing term limit policy as it is. Because as it is, you've already got 12 years of service. That's not much of a limit, to be quite honest. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Pardon me?
To ask you what district you live in?
I live in University Terrace.
I had a question. I had a question.
Ms. Price, come back.
Yeah, I did have a question.
We don't
Is that
ask
Can't
questions
ask
of
questions.
visitors.
Yeah.
Never have. Not of visitors.
Citizens' comments.
Okay.
Citizens' comments.
I'll talk to you after the meeting then. Okay. Thanks.
Next, Mr. Clifton Starks.
What's your district?
Thibodeau.
Good afternoon, Clifton Starks, 3924 Greenwood Road, Central Trade and Labor Council, AFL-CIO. And I came to speak on the resolution number 36, which I'd like to, first of all, commend each and every one of you all for a fine job. I think having this idea is a great job. It really gives any organization or any business the opportunity to get the input from other individuals, especially the ones that who work there, and it enabled them to bring them to the table so that they will have different ideas, different suggestions, and it really shows your neighbors, your community, your constituents, and everyone that within your district, how much you care for them, because it's one thing, we all know someone, whether it's the neighbor or a friend, or your friend know a friend that works at LSU or Conway Hospital. So I think that you're all doing a good job, and I'm definitely in support of what you do in this resolution number 36. I think it's a very good idea. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have no more cards.
Next, we move to visitors. We have Mr. Brandon Comer Capital Group.
He's not here. We can move on.
Okay. We have, we'll move on. We have no special resolutions. Next, we have communiques and committee reports.
Commissioner Lynch.
Oh, that was on for the visitor.
Commissioner Epperson.
Yes, ma'am. On the communiques, just like to state that I attended the Independence Day Festival on the riverfront yesterday, and quite a pleasant event. The weather cooperated. It was so good to see the family atmosphere. Saw little babies going around playing. Saw a lot of Texas license plates. A lot of out-of-town persons that I met. I spoke with some people from Longview and Carthage, Texas. Quite an event. And subsequent to that, I went to the Good Times Road Festival, and basically the same situation there. Just in contrast, I think in Chicago yesterday, I forget how many murders it was just yesterday of violence during their celebrations. And we didn't have any of those events, anything of that nature negative. I was quite pleased with that. And I think that's showing us how our citizens have faith and trust in where we are at this point in life. And I believe that they are very, very hungry for more activities of that nature for the entire family. And I would certainly hope this body, which I figure to be one of the most astute political entities in Louisiana and the nation, that we would look and see what our legacy is going to be in the future. And I think our legacy should be doing everything possible that we can do to make sure that Caddo Parish is worthy of citizens coming here, wanting to live, wanting to work, and want to play. So I would certainly hope that we would take that into consideration.
Also, just wanted to mention in our upcoming NACO conference in Tarrant County, Texas, some of you may not know, our vice president positions are up. We have one woman and we have 2 males that's running. And one of the persons, Stan Bateman from Shelby County, Alabama, who were one of the main proponents in the suit that was filed against the DOJ relative to the Voting Rights Act of Section 5. So just want to let you know NACO is a very diverse group and a democratic organization. And we want to make sure that you're aware of what's going on. And in that light, Madam Chair, have we received our voting credentials yet?
They were actually they came out in the county newspaper.
Okay, so we got somebody that signed up, you want to pick ours up?
No, we don't.
Okay.
I know we don't.
Okay, well, I think if you would you
Okay,
check?
I will.
Okay.
I'll check.
All right. I also would like to recognize, you all remember the Pettaways. On June the 4th, Mr. John Pettaway Jr. Was 102 years old. That makes him still, as far as we know, the oldest veteran in Louisiana, and we are still researching in the nation. On June the 19th, he and Miss Alzada was married 71 years.
Bless his soul.
On June the
71
29th,
days. 71 days just a date. That's his heart.
June the 29th, his lovely wife, Miss Alzada, attained the age of 100.
Wow. Really?
So we went over and we celebrated that over at Mount Canaan Church. Mr. Wilson, is there any info on American Counties for Energy Independence, such as scheduling their meetings, when they're going to launch their website, any issues that they may have coming up that we need to be apprised of? I want to make sure that we on the mailing list, that we know about meetings, we know the launch of the website, because we're going to have some same interest that that's going to be going on at NACO, and I just want to make sure that we can sort of, put those things together and see what we can do to work cooperatively together, and if we're on the same page, whatever we can piggyback on, or whatever. You remember I sent you an email asking you to...
Yes, sir. I just need to do a follow-up.
Okay.
And I'll have the answer for you Monday. I'll call you first thing Monday morning.
Okay. Also, I don't know your policy, Mr. Wilson, relative to staff making comments to the media or giving press releases of whatever it is. Is your policy, any of your staff members, any comments to the media comes through you for clearance? That is?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, that's just, we
make me aware
would
of it.
make sure, because some things, well, would you make sure
Yes, sir.
before they go that you let us know?
Yes, sir.
Because sometimes we run into things out in the street that we hadn't heard about.
Right.
So we'd appreciate it if you could do that. Also, there were a couple of instances where administrative mistakes was made relative to me financially, and I would like, in the event something of this nature come up, which were erroneous, of course. There were a couple of incidents that we would not send out an email relative to those supposed errors until we contact that commissioner.
Yes, sir.
Verbally, because what they say, perception is reality in the political game.
Right.
Also included in that, I think an article was written by someone that we had released public information to, and they had my name in there erroneous on an event that they had stated that I participated in, which was not true. And if you would also, in the public information request, if you would notify the commissioners too, so we can make sure whatever these people are seeking, that is factual and we know about it. I see you gave me a letter relative to the last information that I requested from the Biomedical Research Center, so I assume that information is not here at this point in time, but hopefully I would still like to go forward with what I have on the agenda.
I did place a call, Commissioner Epson.
Sir?
I did place a call and send a letter as well, so
Right,
I'm waiting on the call to come back, and we'll still send a letter out as well.
Okay, all right. There will be a Veteran Celebration Committee meeting, August the 14th, 2013 at 10 a.m. Be in the commission board room around the corner at 10 a.m. We're asking all persons, be they commissioners or any persons in the audience or listening, to please come down and help us plan our second Veterans Celebration and Parade. There will be a code enforcement property standards meeting Monday, August the 5th, 2:00 p.m. All committee members, please put it on your schedule. I try to notify you in advance so we can make sure we have a quorum and you can adjust your schedule accordingly. And we're going to have Mr. Alan Clark, or a representative from Metropolitan Planning Commission, who will be available. I think we had some issues to come up relative to the 5-mile zone from the MPC as it expands out into the unincorporated areas. Have a thank you note that was sent to the commission by Ms. Henderson on Devers Road, thanking the supervisor of the South Camp and the crew for removing the tree that had fallen during the storm. She appreciated the prompt response to her concern. And that's all I have, ma'am. Thank you.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, Commissioner. I too want to echo Commissioner Epperson's comments on the event on 4th of July. We know that the economic engine of Louisiana has been our tourism and entertainment. We also want to recognize how important the Declaration of Independence was to America. While other countries don't have the freedom and independence, they're fighting for it every day. We do. And I think sometimes we take that lightly. And sometimes I think our generation don't understand the values and the sacrifice that was made because of that red, white, and blue flag. And I hope that not only do we support festivals by worthwhile investment in economic development, that we would also educate this next generation how important it is to be an American, to be an American citizen, and and you can have an American dream here. And unfortunately, we don't do enough of that. And I was excited to see the diversity, to see food, fun, and family, children playing, the diverse and the inclusion of the music. It was a great event to see with no violence, no killing, no shooting. And I think we need to do more things like that in the future. Also, Mr. Wilson, if I have the floor, we passed the Sagan ordinance, and I know in some of our park, I asked the parks director to put up the ordinance. And the other day I saw a man sagging his pants all the way down to his knee. You can see all of his private, some part of his private part and his underwear. And that's the day family and senior citizens was going to the park. And if they don't have those signed placards on there, they don't know what our rules are, what our ordinance is. And I would like for you guys in the future to come up with those signs and have those put on our public property, especially those parks. The old people ain't got no business seeing that, and them children. I'm sick of it. It went from bad to worse. And I'm not the fashion police, but I'm going to fight this to the end and try to restore these values back in this country so our people can live in decency in this community. All right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
That's it. I just wanted to announce Tuesday, July 9th, we will have a Economic Development Committee meeting beginning at 12 o'clock and the next Tuesday. And I'm hoping that at least the committee can come out. We got some presentations coming, some people coming to do some presentations to us, so that's this Tuesday, the 9th at 12 noon. And I also want to take this time to welcome our new addition to the Commission Clerk Office, Ms. Michelle Pate. Come and welcome her. So welcome, and thank you for coming to join us.
Thank you.
Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, President Baker. I just wanted to remind you all that I'm pleased to present to the Commission for your consideration my recommendation of Ms. Donna Frazier as a parish attorney when you get to the item on the agenda today. And that concludes my report, ma'am.
Thank you. Commissioner Epperson.
Madam Chair, I forgot. I'd like for Mr. Wilson, if he would, to invite Chief Willis Shaw with Shreveport Police Department and a representative from the Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office for our next work session to give us a brief overview as to the status of crime in the parish as well as the cities. and I'd just like to welcome Ms. Pate. I've had the opportunity to speak with her so many times upstairs, and I told her once I first heard her voice how articulate she was, and I'm glad she's down here.
Yeah.
Very beautiful voice, very good attitude.
She does. Commissioner Lynch?
Yes, there's going to be a personnel policies meeting on August the 5th, immediately after the work session. And I also wanted to ask our colleagues, since we're not having another meeting for a few weeks, if you all would begin to do some maybe individual research or on local hire ordinances, because at some point we'll have a discussion on that. I just would like to have as much information as possible when we start those discussions. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion, we accept Ms. Lynch's new look. Second.
Vote no.
He's like, vote no.
All in favor? Next item, Mr. Clerk.
President's report.
No.
Okay. Next, we move to adopt the minutes of the regular meeting held on June the 20th.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Dominic. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I just want to add one addition to the discussion on, I had it here a minute ago, on Resolution 25A. This is on page 444. I just want the last sentence to read. Ms. Lynch also said that she has some frustration with individuals pushing for this that don't live in Caddo Parish, but that's live and or vote in Caddo Parish.
What page is it, Ms. Lynch?
444, 23. Live and or vote.
Is there any more discussion?
Pleasure.
If none, please vote. That passes. Commissioner Cox? Oh, he's not in here.
He's out the room.
He left.
He got phone.
Oh, next item, Mr. Clerk.
Next, we move to public hearing on ordinances. Ordinance number 5319 of 2013, proposing amendments to the Caddo Parish Home Rule Charter relative to Article 3, Parish Commission, Section 3-1, composition, qualifications, and election for presentation to the electorate.
Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this ordinance? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition? Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Ordinance number 5320 of 2013, proposing amendments to the Caddo Parish Home Rule Charter relative to Article 3, Parish Commission, Section 3-1, composition, qualifications, and elections, and Article 6, financial procedures, Section 6-09, expenditures by commissioners prohibited for presentation to the electorate.
Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this ordinance? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition? Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Ordinance number 5321, amending the budget of estimate revenues and expenditures for the Riverboat Fund and the amount of $5,000 for the Shreveport Sun Women's Basketball Organization.
Is there anyone here to speak in favor? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition? Next item, Mr.
That'll conclude our public hearing on ordinances. We have no zoning ordinances for final passage. We move to ordinances for final passage. Ordinance number 5319 of 2013. No.
Moved by,
So moved.
Second.
moved by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner who?
Jefferson.
Is there any discussion?
I'm trying to find this on the screen.
Yeah,
Which one?
You gotta click on the blue.
That's the one that eliminates term limits.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
what?
That's the one that This is the ordinance that eliminates term limits.
Madam
Commissioner
Chairman,
Dominic?
I just believe, I may have the
Push
floor, I
button,
suppose.
baby.
I just think that,
Dominique, push your button. Thank you. You say you can go first. Go ahead.
I mean, there was a time when, you know, across America, years 10 or 15 years ago, maybe 20, term limit was a popular word of choice to run for public office. And when you're not being productive as an elected official, the people ought to have the right to decide your productivity or no productivity. And also, seniority has its privilege in America. I think the people all decide the terms, and unfortunately, there are some public bodies that do need term limits. I feel that we have provided a framework to the public that we have been good stewards of the taxpayers' money. We have some of the one of the highest bond ratings in the country. We always try to agree to be disagreeable. We don't always agree, but we agree and respect each other to some point. And I just feel that the public and the people should decide the terms of an individual, like any job or a contract. And I feel we should move forward and don't let the past upset the future. And you decide the terms of your elected official. If he's not doing that, vote him out. That person to continue to provide productivity, innovation, and still being representing the citizens of that district, single district well, he should continue to serve. He shouldn't be penalized because of terms. And for that reason, I feel we should allow the people to decide the terms of an individual. Thank you.
Commissioner Dominique?
You know, I agree with Ms. Price, who spoke earlier, and I think she probably should have spoke during the public hearing.
Right.
We just let that slip.
Voluntary.
But I agree with Ms. Price and things she said, and I think we all know, you know, the side of each debate. But, you know, my side, and I've been consistent on this, that it's already been voted on, it was voted on, and I know, you know, Commissioner Williams, you say it was voted on sometimes years ago, but I think the points that Ms. Price brings up, that we do have 12 years and, you know, you do get fresh blood. I believe Commissioner Lynn feels the same way, or he used to at least. So I'm voting no. So, you know, and I understand that, you know, the argument that, you know, let the people decide again. But at this point in juncture, I'm voting no on this. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and talk because we talked over this, we talked over this, and we talked over this so much, so I'm not going to continue to speak, but other than say that's how I'm voting.
Commissioner Lynn?
With the elimination of a term limit and people being able to be ingrained in the system, it's common for them to become a part of the system that they originally ran to office to fight. They become ingrained in the bureaucratic process, and they are able to get more things accomplished. However, that is also at the expense of people in other districts or other areas or other neighborhoods. And if a person is in office and is doing such a fantastic job, I believe that they owe it to their constituents that once they are term limited out, if they want to remain in office, to seek a higher office or another office to show off their skills in providing to their constituents. And for those reasons, I'll be voting against this again. Thank you, Madam President.
Commissioner Cox, thank you.
I will be voting for this simply because term limits was many years ago. Caddo Parish has changed in the years. Once you find someone who's willing to serve the people, not only of their district, but the parish, and represent it well, if that person is willing to put their name on a ballot again, I think they should be able to. Then the voters at that time will vote up or vote down. If we were to do that with every elected official or every elected person that holds an office, would Sheriff Prater still have his job? Probably, because people like the way he does his job. He's not term limited out. He can run as many times as he wants. So think about that. What's the difference between Sheriff Prater running each time and us running each time? You find somebody who's willing to take the brunt, and being an elected official, we get phone calls, we get issues that come up before us that are tough issues. We get people that are unhappy, some people that are happy. But to do this job, you have to have the commitment to work hard, take the good with the bad, and be willing to do that job. And like Mr. Williams said, if you're not willing to do it, people will look at that find them a candidate to do the job and run against you. I think it's every person's right in this country, in this parish, in this city, to vote for the person they want to represent them. It is our right as a citizen to run for the job and the office that we want. And it's up to the people to elect that person, up or down. Now, anybody who has ran for office knows what we're talking about. The people who have not ran for office and have their opinions, they have those. But until you've walked in our shoes, you've got a long road to hoe. Because we have a lot of issues come up here every year. And I am proud to be a Caddo Parish Commissioner. Will I run if term limits get abolished? Don't know. But that's my given right, if the voters vote that way, to run if I want to. Doesn't mean I will. I would ask that the commission look at this, vote the way you want to, but I hope you vote to do away with term limits. Thank you.
Commissioner Escudé.
I still have mixed feelings about this, but I'm going to support putting it on the ballot simply because I can't remember the year, but 94, 92, whatever, when Newt Gingrich came out with this contract with America and term limits, were the talk of the town. The state limited term limits for senators and congressmen. We did it for city officials, parish officials. Everybody did it with the United States Congress, but the same people saying contract with America have term limits. Boy, and if anybody needs term limits, they're a classic case and example. But as David pointed out, it should be for all offices or no offices. Our judges are not term limited. Our school board members, the state legislature finally had to get in and step in, and that's a good thing. That sheriffs aren't term limited, clerks of court, tax assessor, our governor's term limited. I can see where heads of state, whether it be it a state, governor, president, where it's good to turn those over, because you don't want someone with that broad executive power to be able to get a foothold. But when you have an elected body, such as this, where there's 12 votes, one individual can't assume that much power. So you have a little more of a check and balance. It's kind of interesting. I was watching yesterday, Spirit of the 4th of July, the HBO series John Adams, and I didn't realize that when George Washington was first elected president George Washington, there was no term limits for president. He could have served.
He walked away.
But he walked away. And on that, it could be a good thing. But I'm proud of my tenure here. I've done a good job, and I haven't.
Who told you that?
I've told me that. I don't get any phone calls to the contrary. Believe me, the people I represent will call you if they're not happy. But I'm not perfect. But and I've enjoyed serving, and I don't know whether I'll continue to or not. I've got another one if I want to do it. But we get older and change. But I'm proud of what I've been able to accomplish on this body, and I think if the people that I represent like that, they ought to have the opportunity to continue. I tell you what, I believe I've done a better job than the last two of my predecessors, and you get memories, you got to be old as I am to go way back and figure that out. But that being said, since the contract was American, the term limits took over by storm, with the exception of the originators. And the voters of Caddo Parish decided back in the 90s that they wanted to enact term limits. I don't know anything wrong, and I'm not so wise enough not to say that we can revisit this issue and you decide whether it's worked, whether you like it, whether you want to reconsider. I'm not going to be out there canvassing or one way or the other, but I certainly think the 280,000 odd citizens of Caddo Parish are a lot wiser than the 12 of us, and can decide whether they want to continue what they have or do something different. So I'm not advocating it, but I'm going to allow it on the ballot because I believe it's a charter thing, and this was actually recommended by the Charter Review Committee, which are some very astute people. So I'm going to let the voters decide. Thank you.
Commissioner Dominic?
Oh, one of the things you said, I just want to make sure that the people realize that we're not voting on this today, we're just simply voting on, to put it on the ballot. So, like you said, the people will have to decide, but, did the charter review, did they actually vote for this?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Hang on, I'm talking to Mr. Grove, I would think he's our attorney.
It was one of their recommendation in effect was to present it to y'all for determination. I don't think there was a substantive recommendation one way or the other. Todd, correct me if I'm wrong about that, but that, I think that's why it was presented to y'all separately from the other proposals that they made.
So it wasn't?
Yeah, well,
Well, they just said it wasn't.
If they didn't think it was worth consideration, why did they present
No,
it to
they
them?
did, they knew that that was a political issue that they referred to y'all for determination as to whether it goes on the ballot or not. I
Okay.
don't think they made a substantive recommendation one way or the other. Is that correct, Todd?
That's from what I remember.
Mr. Thibodeau probably answered the question.
Our attorney and our clerk just answered it, so.
Mr. Thibodeau was involved in all those meetings, he was on the committee.
He's slash attorney too, you didn't know that?
Yeah. I'm through.
Yes.
It is, yes.
I remember it a little differently. I remember them voting, the committee voted to bring it to recommend it to the full commission to vote. And if that was the only change that the committee was going to make, or even if there were multiple changes that the commission decided to make, they wanted to see this part of it go down as a separate issue. That's the way I remember it. But that's how I remember it happening.
Commissioner Epperson?
Call for the question on the motion. Second.
We'll vote on calling for the question.
Voting on the question?
Yes.
All this technology, I was waiting.
What y'all used to do, raise your hand?
Just thinking.
Blame it on Bill Gates.
8 votes to pass, right?
Yes, 2/3. Okay, we're calling for the question.
That passes. Now we vote on the actual ordinance.
That was the question.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that was the
There we
question.
go.
Can you show it?
Mr. Dominic?
You need to vote calling on question.
We did.
We did.
Just now.
Okay.
Now we vote on the actual ordinance. Pass.
Okay.
That does not
Mr. Lynn?
pass.
Mr. Lynn?
Pardon me?
Your vote's not showing.
We did call for the question first, and I voted yes, and then we voted on the issue, and I already voted no. What's this voting for?
This is for
This
the
is
issue.
voting on the issue. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Saying people voted.
That did not
That's
pass.
3 votes, and I can only think of 2 issues that we just voted on.
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
No, wait a minute.
I'm confused. I just voted 3 times.
You should only vote
It
twice.
only registered,
You only voted
it only registers at
One at a
second.
time?
You only voted twice.
Okay.
Wake up, Sherlock.
Can't you count? Caddo School?
Thank you.
You ready to move?
Next
Ordinance number
Please take
5320 of
first
2013, proposing amendments to the Caddo Parish Home Rule Charter relative to Article 3, Parish Commission, Section 3-1, Composition, Qualifications, and Election, and Article 6, Financial Procedures 6-09, Expenditures by Commissioners prohibited for presentation to the electorate.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Lynn, second by Commissioner Johnson.
Now, what is this?
Is
Let me be
there any
clear. What we
discussion?
vote?
This one is
5320?
5 years, I think.
320.
5320. Attorney Grubb?
This one addresses 2 issues, Commissioners. The first concerning term limits, it would, instead of the present 3 4-year term limits, it would raise the term limits to 5 consecutive 4-year terms.
Okay. Commissioner Lynch?
Yes, this is I guess what I would consider a compromise that we've talked about probably the last couple of years. This issue of, putting term limits on the ballot or not putting term limits on the ballot, in the almost 10 years I've been here, has never been voted in the positive by the commission. I am very much in support of term limits, and that's not going to change. However, out of respect for my colleagues that do feel strongly about it, as well as understanding that it just takes time to get some things done. And, you only get, well, sometimes you get worse with time, but sometimes you actually do get better with time as well. But working as close as we do with our delegation in Washington, D.C., as well as through the National Association of Counties, it takes time for some issues to surface. It takes time for to flesh some issues out. I know that there are some issues we've been dealing with since we got here in 2004 that we're still, have not definitively resolved. And so I'm not sure if, at this point, if 12 years is enough, but I certainly feel strongly that all that a person hadn't done in 20 years is not going to get done. And so this is kind of a compromise for 4-year terms as the max. That's not good. As a compromise to not just totally doing away with term limits, but extending them to give sufficient time for, for commissioners and for their constituents. If there's a person that, they want to continue to elect, to be able to deliver on some of the things that we start. Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Thibodeau?
This is a two-part, as I understand it. The first part having to do with extending term limits to 5 4-year terms. And then the second part, which to me is the scariest part, is to allow without, let me put my reading glasses on here. It says that funds can be expended for the priority needs of the entire parish without limitations based on commission district lines or arbitrary geographical criteria. To me, what this says is that with the current monies that we now have, we could spend as much as we want even in the city limits. And I might consider something like this if there was a revenue source, but there's no revenue source. We can't take the monies that we have now and still take on some of the cost of projects in the city that we already are not, that, there are some that we're already responsible for, pass-through money on the libraries, animal control, and things like that. But to leave it wide open like this and have no revenue source to do it, I think is irresponsible, and I don't believe I can vote for that, because that opens up a big can of worms.
Madam President, can I just clarify that one? I didn't speak to it when I was talking, but just a point of clarification. The second part, the only word that's added there, the parish is all 38 miles? It's not outside of the city of Shreveport. Caddo Parish is all 938 miles. All, including the city of Shreveport. 75% of the parish is the city of Shreveport. And the only word that's inserted there is entire. It already states that, what's the second part that you read? That without regard to geography, without regard to lines, you've got 12 commissioners here that represent that represent exclusively within the city of Shreveport, some outside of the city. So the charter already says that. Just the addition of the word entire I guess I wanted to give emphasis to that it actually means the entire parish. It's really stated there anyway, but just to give further clarification, it's not, I don't think it's going to change anything. And it's not meant to change anything because it's already existing that it covers, what we do covers the entire parish without regard to geography or lines, any demarcation inside the city, outside the city. If you took that word out, that wouldn't change that fact. So just wanted to be clear on that. Thank you. Yes.
Can I reply?
Yes.
I think that we all understand there are some responsibilities that the parish has that covers the entire parish. There are other responsibilities that within the different city limits, that city has responsibility. The city has responsibility for roads in the city and the sewer and the water and that kind of thing. By putting it as it reads in here, I would interpret it to mean that from now on, if you get 7 votes, then we can go in and do repairs to city streets or city sewerage or any of the responsibilities that the sewer has with no additional revenue. And we can be sure that the city's not going to pay us to do it. So that was my concern. It seems like it just opens it too wide without any parameters, and that's dangerous.
Commissioner Escudé?
Well, I would only ponder the question that if the addition to the word entire doesn't change anything, has no meaning, why are we even doing it? You know, that's my question. And what funds, what would be the source of funds that we would actually go within our normal order of business and use to expend when we have our solid waste funds and juvenile court funds and criminal justice funds and roads and bridge funds, which are dedicated. We can't use those for any other unspecific purpose. And at the same time, we have the rural residents of the parish who pay special taxes in some cases for roads and solid waste and all. You can't use their money outside of that. They, you know, the way they voted on these taxes were written that way. And then secondly, I imagine that you were talking about the parish, 75% of the parish, but you're probably talking about the parish of the population. The city doesn't eat up 75% of the parish's geography. The parish is big. I don't have that figure. We get some, you know, I travel the parish, believe me. You know, it's not, it may be population, but it's not geography. We have 480 miles of roads in this parish. But I'm not going to support this based on the fact that it wasn't recommended by the Charter Review Committee. And since admittedly the word doesn't affect or change anything, I see no reason we'd do anything about it. Thank you.
Commissioner Williams?
Well, Madam Chairman, I'd like to offer a substitute motion without striking out the word entire it's just mostly of a cleanup. I'd like to substitute motion to pass in this ordinance with the 5 consecutive elected terms. If I get a second.
Second.
Yeah. The reason why I too am concerned that because most of our ordinance or dedicated taxes to a particular department, the only way that we can maybe utilize these funds in some of the urban district is some of the programs that we offer. I can see us doing water, sewage, and drainage. I don't think that's what the intent of the language in here, but to be in compliance when we do things in the parish. But to prohibit it from being on the ballot because of a word, I wouldn't think would be the right reason not to go forward. I think we all agreed that now we do still have some term limits. There are 5 consecutive terms. At such time, the citizens of Caddo Parish still have the right to vote it up or down. And I don't want to take that right away from the people. There are too many rights being taken away. So in order to move forward, passing it, allowing the people, putting it on the ballot, to allow the citizens, the competent citizens of Caddo Parish, to vote on this, we should strike out the word entire and just leave the language as it was before then. So I hope that all of us will support this. Just putting it on the ballot. You ran for office that you support term limits. You're not opposing why you ran, but do allow the people of Caddo to vote on it. And we'll live with their decision, we'll move forward. All right? Thank you.
Commissioner Williams, can you help me? What's your substitute motion?
The only thing I was just striking out the word entire.
And if you take entire out, then that puts it back like it was before?
Go back to the original form.
6-09 will read like it's read before. Preparatory needs of the parish.
Article 6.
So then,
Article 6,
so then,
Section 609.
if the commission votes to amend the ordinance per Commissioner Williams' motion, it would be only to propose the amendment to Section 3-01 regarding term limits.
Extending the term.
Correct.
If your motion passed.
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's moved by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Cox on his friendly amendment to leave Section 6-09 as is, and only vote on Section 3-01. Correct?
Correct.
Okay, good. Commissioner Lynch, that was my question. That was my question.
I want to speak on Commissioner Williams. I have no issue with that at this time, but I do want to clarify. You know, people are saying where is the source of the revenue coming from, as if people within the city of Shreveport don't pay taxes. That is the revenue source. If we operate this parish just on what was collected outside of the city of Shreveport, you know, the parish would probably, you know, we wouldn't need all the folks we have now. So, so that is the source of revenue. But to say that what we can and can't do in the city, because we don't have money for that, that's totally not true. We do, you know, a lot of things in collaboration and cooperation with the city. I think we should do more as we go forward. However, I don't want anyone to have the impression that we don't have money to do things within the city of Shreveport. Certainly they have their responsibilities, you know, based on the sales tax revenue that they collect. We can't just go and start fixing something in the city. That is something that has to be a collaborative effort. And so that's already there. I hope, regardless of whether the word entire is there or not, it's implied in what is already there. I just wanted to add that to it because, you know, a lot of times when we say parish, even commissioners up here, you know, they want to limit it to outside of the city of Shreveport until it's something that we want in the city of Shreveport. You know, we didn't have a problem taking on the Sever building, which is in the city of Shreveport. You know, but then on other things that are in the city of Shreveport, you want to say, well, we can't do that because it's in the city of Shreveport. So, you know, people want to pick and choose on these projects. But I want to say that this is a parish. It's not an inside and an outside. And when we say parish, that means the entire parish. And that's really why I wanted to add the word, so that we can, not so much the public, I think the public gets it. Some folks up here don't get it. It is the entire parish. And that 75% is population. 75% of the parish is comprised of taxpayers within the city of Shreveport. So thank you.
Commissioner Epperson.
Call for the question on the motion.
Call for the question by Commissioner Epperson and second by Commissioner Williams. Nobody else to talk anyway. So you have to vote if you call for the question. That passes. Commissioner Smith? No.
He's on that.
Yeah, now we vote on Commissioner Williams' substitute motion.
Substitute motion.
Oh, everybody so fast. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. That passes 8-4.
Right.
All right.
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
No, wait.
That's fine.
Excuse me. That was the vote on Mr. Williams.
Substitute motion.
Right.
Right.
That's it.
So substitute motion passed.
Kill the first one.
Kill the first.
Never mind.
We killed my last one.
So that was the vote on the ordinance as amended.
Right.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Wake up, man.
I know you're anxious to leave, but calm down there, Charles.
Miss Donna's your seat hot.
Tell me we just funded Wells Island.
You know, just,
Okay, ordinance number 5321 of 2013, amending the budget of estimate revenues and expenditures for the Riverboat Fund in the amount of $5,000 for the Freeport Suns women's basketball organization.
may I make a comment? I just want to be careful about this so we don't get a validity situation. My understanding was Commissioner Williams' motion was to amend the ordinance, which is not the same as final passage. I think y'all just voted to amend the ordinance that you're considering for final passage, and you still need to have the minutes reflect that a vote on final passage of the ordinance. Yeah. Mr. Williams, as I appreciate your motion, it was to amend the ordinance.
He's correct.
To delete the second section regarding the word entire. And so I think what that vote that y'all just did was to amend the ordinance. But the ordinance, so now the ordinance before you is the ordinance that deletes the second.
That Mr. Williams wants to pass.
You want to make us vote again?
So I still think you need a motion to approve the ordinance as amended.
As amended.
So
Madam
moved.
Chair.
I thought we
Second.
So moved by Ms. Lynch.
moved by Commissioner Lynch, second by Commissioner Johnson. To final passage,
For final passage of the ordinance as amended.
as amended.
All right. Earn your money to the last, aren't you?
You ain't, yes, sir. You ain't ready to go to pasture yet, are you?
You'll be a consultant.
We've done this before. It's before we just, where you get that from?
It passed.
Big couple votes.
Well,
Michael, Mr. Thibodeau, don't run now. I may be running against you.
It passes 9-3.
Now, ordinance number 5321, amending the budget of estimate revenues and expenditures for the Riverboat Fund in the amount of $5,000 for the Freeport Suns women's basketball organization.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Lynch. Is there any
Talk to me,
discussion?
Mike.
I said that would be the easiest run I ever had.
Please vote. I guess y'all was talking about something else. That passes. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Next, we move to zoning ordinances for introduction by title. Zoning case number P413 in regard to ordinance 5322 of 2013, Metropolitan Planning Commission applicant request to amend section 54658 of chapter 54 of the Caddo Parish Code of Ordinances to allow for manufacturing of alcohol beverages of use by right in both B3 and B4 districts. Public hearing on zoning case will be August 8th. Zoning case P513 in regard to ordinance number 5323 of 2013, Metropolitan Planning Commission applicant request to amend section 35-1 of chapter 35 of the Caddo Parish Code of Ordinances. The Caddo Parish fees, rates, and charges ordinance in various sections of chapter 54 of the Code of Ordinance require specific forms of approval for location of manufactured housing or mobile homes. Public hearing August the 8th. Zoning case P713 in regard to ordinance 5324 of 2013, 2539 70th Street, Architects Outdoor Products LLC applicant request to rezone property on the east side, on the southeasterly side of East 70th Street from RA Residential Agriculture to B3. Public hearing August 8th. Next, we move to ordinances for introduction. Ordinance number 5325 of 2013, amending the budget of estimate revenues and expenditures for the general fund in the amount of $285,000 for the First Judicial District Court Drug Court Grant. Ordinance number 5326 of 2013, declaring certain adjudicated properties to be surplus and authorize the parish administrator designate to sell tax interest. Ordinance number 5327 of 2013, amending and reenacting Article 3, Chapter 30 of the Code of Ordinances and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. Next, we move to work session minutes. July 1st, ratify the work session minutes.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Cox. Is there any discussion? None, please vote. Commissioner Lynn?
That's good enough.
That passes. Next item, Mr.
Next, we
Clerk.
move to resolution number 32 of 2013, approving the issuance, sale, delivery, and not exceeding $13,800,000 of taxable hospital revenue bonds to North Caddo Hospital Service District of the Parish of Caddo, State of Louisiana, and $13,800,000 of bond anticipation notes.
Move to next year.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Dominic, second by Commissioner Escaday.
That's about as funny as your hair.
Is there any discussion? None, please vote.
That's good, Steph.
Next turn.
That passes. Next item. Mr.
Resolution
Clerk.
number 33 of 2013, approving the issuance, sale, delivery not exceeding $6,200,000 of taxable sales tax bonds to North Caddo Hospital Service District, and $6,200,000 of bond anticipation notes.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Dominic, second by Commissioner Escaday. Is there any discussion? If none, please vote.
Don't get sick.
That passes. Next item.
Resolution number 34, urging and requesting the Metropolitan Planning Commission and the Zoning Board of Appeals amend their bylaws to require electronic voting during their respective meetings.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Lynn, second by Commissioner Escaday. Commissioner Johnson.
I guess I talked to one of the MPC members. They were saying that it was going to cost them money to actually utilize the system.
I can speak on that.
Okay, Commissioner Lynn.
I'll cover that first. There is a $1,500 fee for utilizing the system. It's a licensing fee. That fee is currently split by the City Council and the Parish Commission. And since we already fund everything that the MPC does in its entirety, we would continue to fund it because they would be piggybacking on us with us already paying that fee. We're not going to ask them to split it a third, a third, a third. And even if we did ask them to split it a third, a third, a third, we would still be paying it anyway. And so, yes, they also expressed the question that it was going to cost them $1,500 to train people how to use this. And I guess if Todd Hopkins is comfortable with me putting him on the spot, he volunteered to help with them, and as well as they could come and sit in with us and train, and that the system is not so complicated that it takes $1,500 to train a person how to use this. Everybody up there in their office is competent. Everybody here is competent to learn how to use this. And my understanding that a few hours and sitting in with us or sitting in with the City Council, and then maybe somebody sitting beside them the first time they're in the driver's seat, and that would be enough to handle that. And if I may continue to speak, we also brought...
You still answer my question.
Okay, okay, go ahead.
You still answer my question.
Go ahead, share live, man.
Thank you. That's all I have.
That we brought several of the Metropolitan board members down here, and once they saw the system, that they did not realize that they had the opportunity to use this, and were ecstatic and excited to be able to use the system. And yesterday at the MPC meeting, it was brought up at the meeting that they did want to use the system. And then there were several questions that were brought to light, but they never even thought to ask to be able to use the system. They just took it as a given that they couldn't. But once they realized the benefits of it, I think that they were ready to pass it yesterday before we even continued with this. That's all, Madam President.
Commissioner Cox.
That was my question. How did this come about? And have we talked to the members of the MPC to see if we were shoving something down their throats that they didn't want, or basically, are they on board with this? Stephen's here. Stephen represents MPC. Maybe he can shed some light on it.
Get an unbiased answer from him.
He's not.
This was actually on our agenda for discussion at the last meeting. There was quite a bit of information. As Todd was present, was able to give a lot of information. We were given some information through the IT department regarding to the licensing amounts and the training amounts. And I think they were ranging from, there were $600 if the people were, who normally do the training were in the area, and if they weren't, they were going to charge $1,200. But I would have to agree with Mr. Lynn. There seemed to be an overwhelming support of wanting to utilize the system, but they didn't formally act in the meeting.
So they do want to.
It appeared, I can't say that they didn't actually take action on it, but there was a lot of positive discussion about that, and I think there was a lot of information that was brought by Todd that was helpful to them to understand it better.
Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you. Commissioner Williams?
What about the ZBA? Are they also included in the change, or you just want the MPC?
It's all, is the ordinance or is the resolution read that the city council passed, which is the exact same resolution that we hope to pass today, the MPC, the ZBA are unified body.
Well, I think it's something long overdue because, they are a public body that we fund. And oftentimes, you get confused with the yays and the nay vote, but it become a public record. You can see it with the technology. That's what the public needs to see. And I'd like to see one day that there be some changes on that body, on that board one day, because I feel like they are doing a disservice to the public. Thank you.
Commissioner Escaday?
I agree with Commissioner Williams. I'd like to support it just because I think that this allows the most accurate recording of votes out there. And if you're not willing to have your vote accurately recorded, whether it's elected office or volunteer office, you shouldn't be in office. Thank you.
No one else, please vote. That passes. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Resolution number 36, 2013, urging the Biomedical Research Foundation to add 9 members to their governing operations board for the operations of the LSU Medical Center Shreveport and EA Conway Hospital in Monroe.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Epperson, second by Commissioner Johnson. Is there any discussion?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sure everyone has had an opportunity to read the resolution. Realizing that we are going forward into something new, making the transition from the state operating the LSU Medical Center as well as the EA Conway Center in Monroe, Louisiana. It's bringing about some changes. I think someone mentioned we did a resolution supporting the effort of privatizing LSU Medical Center and also supporting the effort of Biomedical Research Center to be the one to operate and administer it. I think there was some questions asked, did we have any skin in the game? Do we need to put up? Of course we have some skin in the game. There's a tax millage that on April the 3rd, 1993, of 26,700 citizens voting in behalf of that millage for a Biomed Research Center. It passed by 2,000 votes. On the 18th of October, 1997, 38,206 registered voters participating. It passed by only 1,600 votes. October the 20th, 2001, is voted on again. Only 7,500 people voted. So do we have some skin in the game? Of course we do. Let's remember, I think that we have an item on the ballot coming up this October where we want the citizens to approve a bond measure of between $20 and $25 million over a 20 or whatever that year's period of time. Bear in mind that the same people of the 1,835 classified employees at LSU Medical Center. At EA Conway Medical Center, 534, with 1,835 employees at the LSU Medical Center. See, if they spoke to 2 people, and then those people spoke to 2 more, you can see the multiplier effect upon that on any upcoming issues that we have. The funding that Biomedical Research Center, that the 3 elections that I just mentioned, that the citizens in this parish gave permission to use those amounts for economic development. Those employees are going to take that in consideration. It's not that they are asking for anything any different. These are humans. They are citizens of this parish. They are taxpayers. And most of industries and businesses now, when it comes to hiring and things going on within a corporation, they generally work as a team. The last job that I was on, when we hired new personnel, the particular departments that they were coming in, we had individuals from those departments to come out and interview with those particular employees, because we want a team concept. It's not us and it's not them. It's we that are banding together to make sure that the goods and services that we are trying to provide to the citizens, or whomever our customers are, is the best that it can possibly be. And that includes having someone from all aspects of that particular entity having the opportunity to participate. If we look back in the 90s, when we said that America was falling behind the Japanese and other countries within the world because of competition, we came up with that concept that everyone that participated in a particular process should have an opportunity to put something on the table. Because the more ideas you get in there, the better chance of a successful operation that you may have. Since 2001, just to name off some figures that these citizens gave that millage to, 1.5 million in 2000, 1.5 in 2001, 1.5, 1.5, 1.6. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And those employees that will be affected, they don't want to get in and do anything different. They just want to make sure that they can participate in the process too, to make this venture as smooth and as practical and as efficient as possible. So I ask for your vote today in reference to passing this resolution. Mind me, just like the resolution that we passed in support of Biomed operating and administering the new the LSU Medical Center, as well as the EA Conway, this is the decision that they will have to make. This is a request. It's not binding. And I think we should give them the opportunity to accept this or reject it. And then they will have to be accountable to the citizens as to their decision. So I ask for your vote on this measure. Thank you.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Commissioners, I will be supporting Commissioner Epperson-Mosin. Based on all the comments he made are in line with what I was about to say, but I do think the people that are working at the bottom do need a voice at the table. When you're negotiating contracts and union agreements, I think the people that suffer the most oftentimes, the people that they impose laws and rules and regulations, they're not at the table. Why can't they create together where it could be a win-win relationship, where we lead from the bottom to the top and connect the have with the have-nots together to work together? Since they have to coexist together, they might as well start working together. To impose these rules and regulations on the people that are not being inclusive, you're going to have a problem. You have a morale problem. But we need to learn to work together. Just because people are low to moderate income and they're poor, don't mean you ought to treat them any kind of way. They're second-class citizens, hitting them below the belt. That is wrong. That's not the country we live in. This is not the America we live in. This is not the city or the parish or the state we live in. We're better than that. Even though what's happening to them now is wrong, since we are here right now in the game, and Biomed look like they're going to be the one that manages the facility, at least have the working people at the bottom be at the table so they can have some input on the future development and how the program, how the project is going to work in the future. I believe if they do that, they can have a win-win relationship and everybody can have a piece and a stake in the game. Thank you.
Mr. Thibodeau.
Yeah, whoever can answer this question, how many people are on the board, do you know? Anybody?
I've requested that information, Mr. Thibodeau, and I think upon the last meeting, they, had some concerns. I thought we were gonna have to get a public records request. However, they state that they'll get back to us. Now, the board as it exists now, there's 15.
15?
15.
And how are they chosen? How are they currently chosen?
Good question.
My understanding was that they have a selection committee of their particular board, and they choose and recommend to the full board who they want on.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Escaday?
Our support, or my support for the previous resolution that we had passed supporting the biomedical's efforts to be awarded the right to take over management of the hospital, simply based on the fact the governor and the state were going to turn it over or close it down, and they were the only people showing an interest in doing it. So I'd rather go ahead and kind of support the only one out there interested rather than risk losing the thing. And that was the resolution. It was voicing our support. As far as our dog in the hunt, as far as fiduciary responsibility, their budget is a mere pass-through. We sign off on it. I don't know what effect it would actually have if we did not sign off on it 1 year. I imagine nothing. And to validate that, if we had any direct authority over the Biomedical Research Board, we wouldn't be passing a resolution. We could pass an ordinance reconfiguring the membership of that board. So this may pass today. All it's doing is expressing, our collective or this body's desires. But they can do whatever they want to do. So I don't know if I want to show mass support for people who are currently employed there, many of which will transfer, or I want to aggravate a board who's trying to do their best to say something that obviously our governor really ultimately could care whether or not it continues to exist. So those are just my thoughts on it. Thank you.
Commissioner Epperson?
Hope we're not aggravating anyone. We're just asking for team players. This is America. This is the parish of Caddo, and it shouldn't be no us and them. No one is wanting to get on the board. This is a request, a simple request. They can accept or reject. And I realize if we had any more responsibility or direct control, I would certainly be looking at an audience to probably put some commissioners on there, because I certainly have the time to serve. But the thing is, this is a serious economic problem for our area. It is what it is, and I think it's nothing wrong that we ask them if they would include the employees, some employees on that board too. It shouldn't be us against them. If you look at these board members, you sometimes wonder, you got the chamber representatives, you got big business. But what about people that have their hands on the situation every day? You'd be surprised at the ideas that can come out from the people that's actually bringing about the product, not the one that's managing, the people that has the boots on the ground, as they say. Amen. And that's what it's about. This is no different than the resolution to support the privatization. They could say the hell with it, even though I guess they asked us to do this. But the employees asked me to do this in their behalf because they want to be a part of the team to help save this facility.
Commissioner Johnson?
Call for the question.
Thank
you. Moved by Commissioner Johnson, second by Commissioner Williams. Call for a question. Please vote. That passes. Now we vote on the resolution. That passes. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Resolution number 37, 2013, ordering and calling a special election to be held in Caddo Parish to vote upon the adoption of amendments to the Home Rule Charter.
So moved with the removal of Charter Amendment Proposition 2 from that resolution.
Attorney.
Commissioner Rudd?
I think in light of the commission's action.
She had took him off as attorney.
Attorney. Leaving, then you're gonna come back? You weren't supposed to tell anybody that.
I know.
Take Michael's spot.
Commissioners, I think in light of what the action the commission took on the ordinance, a motion needs to be made to amend the resolution by deleting the second proposition, and then assuming that passes, then a vote on the motion as amended.
Is that what you did?
No, she started to say that.
Attorney,
So we voting on the amendment first.
I have a motion, I don't.
now make it clear. What? Say to me.
Say it again, Chef. Commissioner.
Ditto what he just said.
Okay. So we're amending to resolution.
To withdraw the entire ordinance.
So, to withdraw section 2, she said.
Section 609.
That's right.
Oh, 6.
Correct.
609.
Oh, no. Oh, that.
We
Okay.
just voted yes.
So we're voting on the amendment.
Yeah.
Doesn't tell me what you need me to do.
We're just removing that
Loan me $20.
charter amendment
What you-
proposition
the
2.
one
We're
you
just
talked
taking out
about?
that part we already took out earlier.
The one you took out earlier. Okay, please vote. That passes. Now we need to do a final passage on
on the
this
resolution as
resolution number
amended.
37.
Second.
Second, moved by Commissioner Lynch, second by Commissioner Johnson. Is there any discussion?
Same one. We didn't vote for final approval.
Final approval on
Hey,
resolution number
I
37.
voted no on that last one. I just noticed it didn't show up.
You're not gonna put up with that. What do we vote? The same thing, we just voted for it.
Please vote.
Get like Matthew, I can't push button.
That passed. You did.
Yes, sir. You voted on this.
I only hit no, yeah.
That passes, yes.
I didn't know what yes was.
I didn't go through that $1,500.
Next item,
Next, we move to
Mr.
new business, have confirmation for appointment of the Caddo Parish Attorney.
So move.
Moved by Commissioner
Please.
Lynch Williams, second by Commissioner Johnson.
Authorize and confirm the appointment of Donna Y. Frazier as a parish attorney.
Second.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Lynch that we appoint Donna Frazier as the parish attorney.
Governor
Second.
Frazier.
Should be
I
effective.
said Donna.
Effective on the.
Effective on
Effective immediately.
Immediately.
immediately. Okay.
Well, I thought you would
Was
return,
moved
you hanging around till the
and
31st?
second. Is there any discussion, Commissioner Escaday?
Yes. Well, answer that question, when you leaving?
Mr. Rep,
Man,
Love you, but come on.
After today, you can,
Commissioners,
I'll help you pack. Just kidding.
First of all, the bottom line is, I've said that I will stay here until the successor is in place, and if the successor is the assistant parish attorney, which it's obviously going to be, that I'm happy to stay until that position is replaced. So I anticipate being here till sometime in August.
You gonna be her assistant?
Very good.
That's to be negotiated as parish attorney.
Commissioner Williams?
No, me. I'm not finished.
Oh, what?
Asking a question. Thank you. I just want to say that I am enthusiastically going to support Ms. Frazier. Up till this time, we had little issues that we've resolved. They were never about her qualifications and her competency, and I want her to know that I have full confidence in her. Look forward to working with her. But I want you also to realize that confidence in my support is not because you've been here. I don't believe anybody's entitled to anything because they have a job in this building. I believe you've earned it and you have the qualifications, and that's why I'm supporting you. Thank you.
You finished, Commissioner Escaday?
Yes.
Commissioner Williams?
I disagree with my colleague. I think it's someone who have given their time, their talent, and energy to work at the parish as a servant. All deserve an opportunity to be promoted up within the ranks. And I believe we should hire from within. It helps the morale. It gives some people hope that one day I could be the parish administrator, I could be the parish attorney, I could be the public works director. And oftentimes, we have some of the best, brightest minds in the city of Shreveport and Caddo Parish. We go outside to get people. And people come try to hire us to come work for them. I'm quite sure you probably, parish administrator, has a lot of opportunities. And I'm quite sure Mr. Grubb and others, and Ms. Frazier. So I think we got some of the best competent people that work for Caddo Parish. And I believe, I don't want to lower the expectation because she had to be a woman and African American. We should raise the expectation of the parish attorney, and this is to me, this is an upgrade because she looked better than Mr. Grubb. It is an upgrade to me because she looks better than Mr. Grubb. But she had some great training. She had some great training. You've been great mentored to by Mr. Grubb, and I haven't always agreed with his Attorney General's opinion.
Okay.
But I do respectfully, and I'm happy today that we're promoting from within. We have diversity here. We have the demographics here in Caddo Parish, and it represents what America's all about: having a chance of hope and believe in your American dream. They say get a good education, stay out of trouble, don't go to jail, do the right thing, love your country, and you have an opportunity. You live in your American dream, and I'm proud of you. Thank you.
Commissioner Lynch, thank you, Commissioner.
Let me say that I want to congratulate you, Ms. Frazier, for becoming the first African-American female parish attorney. Certainly, it may be the only one in the state, and I do want you to find out for me. Let me know. Also want to commend Mr. Wilson for finally promoting an internal female candidate in the parish after passing over 2 others. Certainly want to commend you for stepping up on this one. I would like for Donna Parrish to come forward, though.
We need to vote.
We gotta vote first.
Okay.
We ain't in there yet.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know what
I'll
y'all talking about.
introduce her parents now.
The camera's running, she's like.
She wouldn't be this wonderful without them, so hopefully we'll hear from them after we vote yes. Thank you.
Commissioner Lynn?
Congratulations, Ms. Frazier, on your obvious unanimous vote on the Parish Commission for your promotion. It is certainly well-deserved, and I look forward to a more friendly atmosphere between the Parish Commission and the Parish Attorney with you in office, and I salute you on your laurels. And,
Not dismissed yet.
pardon, and thank you so much for standing in it and holding your ground, and I look forward to you holding your ground in the future for what's right. Thank you.
Commissioner Epperson?
Call for the question on the confirmation motion.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Epperson, second by Commissioner Estes. Call for the question. Let's please vote. It passes. Now we will vote on confirmation for appointment of Caddo Parish Attorney for Donna Frazier.
Who is?
Donna Frazier. That passes unanimously.
Hooray!
Okay, Commissioner Bowman? You need to go to.
I just want
Go to the podium.
I just wanted to congratulate you as well, and to let you know that my prayers and support are with you. And I wish you nothing but success, and I know that you'll do well.
Commissioner Cox?
Congratulations. You're actually going to be by me, like you always are, but permanent now, so I appreciate that. I think that you're going to do a fine job. You already have what it takes. Putting up with 12 of us is going to be a chore in itself.
That's right.
She knows.
Mr. Grubb has already told you the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm the good, he's the bad, and he's the ugly. So,
I'm the one got the real swag. Ain't that
at a later date, we will roast or say goodbye to Mr. Grubb, and he will be missed. You've done an excellent job, and I'm sure you got Donna prepared and ready to go, so the change will be, that we won't have to worry about it. I'm glad to have you aboard.
Before Commissioner Epperson speaks, I want to recognize our City Councilwoman, Rose McCullough, former Caddo Parish Commissioner. Okay, Commissioner Epperson.
To Mr. and Mrs. Frazier in the audience, Donna's parents. I know you may have experienced the same thing as I have. My daughter is currently in New Orleans at Xavier working on her master's. I got a call the other morning at 3:30 in the morning. She was crying, and she disputed a grade. And when you're looking at over 100 and some thousand that you spent already, including her scholarships and things of that nature, and then her aspirations, once she get that master's, she want to go ahead to a PhD in education administration, that you can give them hope that there's something after the BS and all the hard work and the crying and all the financial expenses. I told her I was going to build a room on the back of my house for her and her husband to come in where they can take care of me some once they get up making that big money. But it's a pleasure to have worked with you since I've been back on the commission. When I first came back, we sat down and talked, got an understanding, and everything that you've done has been exemplary as far as I'm concerned. And I know your future is going to be just as exciting. And congratulations, and to your parents, you all did a wonderful job. Thank you.
Would you introduce your parents? No,
Yes.
please. Come on up.
Come on down.
Price is right. Speak fast enough.
These are my parents, Donald and Zenola Frazier from Tallulah, Louisiana.
Tallulah. All right.
Oh,
Very good.
They came here to be with me today in support of me, and as Ms. Lynch said, I would not be who I am without their support and their guidance. So I appreciate it.
They'd like to say something?
Well, we're proud of her, and of course, thank God, and I'm grateful to you guys for giving her this opportunity. And she's looking at me, but I always give her the same advice many, many times. Do the best you can do, be fair and just, and that is what I still say to her.
Good, Mom.
Hey, good job. Just want to say thank each one of you for having confidence that she can do the job. We always encouraged her to be the best that she could, and she have deep roots back in Madison, Tensas, and Richland Parish. My wife is from Richland, I'm from Tensas, and Madison was the point in between, so we met up and we raised her, and always encouraged her to be the best that she could be.
Done a good job.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would just like to first thank God. I would like to thank you all and Mr. Wilson for your vote of confidence and trust. I would like to thank Mr. Grubb. He's been a great mentor to me, and he taught me so well, and things that he didn't teach me, he gave me an opportunity to go off and learn elsewhere. And I would not have been in a position to take this on if it was not for his guidance. I would like to thank, I believe, is it Ms. Jansen? Ms. Richardson. I don't know her. She doesn't know me, and I've never had that happen before. Someone who I don't know personally come and speak on my behalf. But I've actually found out a lot during the week about the cares and concerns of you all and the citizens, and I just want you to know that I really, really appreciate it. I look forward to working with you, and I will do the very best I can to make sure that you're satisfied with my work.
Amen.
Thank you so much. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Very good, John.
John.
You said you gonna build her house or bill her house? You gonna make her bill her room? You gonna bill her room?